Hey everyone, Mike Wolf here. Thank you so much for tuning in to Entrepreneurs Making a Difference. And our mission is to connect entrepreneurs from all over the globe that are doing, amazing things, giving back. And my goal is to help them all to collaborate so that we can do all bigger things together as opposed to being solopreneurs, which doesn't work quite as well. So today I've got a very special guest with me. His name is Kevin Ward. He lives in the Los Angeles area. And his topic is very near and dear to my heart. As many of you know, I've been a real estate investor for many years, but before that, I was a realtor. And Kevin Ward runs a company called Yes Master Success Systems for real estate success. And I'll read a bit of his bio here. He's been doing real estate since 1998, and by his third year, he was selling 100 homes a year, that's a lot of homes for that early on in your career. It usually takes a long time to build up to that. And he built it off of targeting for sale by owners and listings that had expired on the MLS. So we're going to ask him some questions about that, how he built that up. For the last 6 years, he's been a broker. He's done a lot of management and coaching. The last 2 years, he's really focused on his real estate coaching business, where he teaches, as I mentioned, he has what's called Yes Masters Real Estate Success Training, where he teaches other realtors how to be successful and duplicate what he's done. So Kevin, thanks so much for being here and welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mike. As you know, I'm so excited to be talking to you. I have a lot of respect for you and what you do, and
Thank you.
you're one of my mentors. So,
well, I'm so glad that we met because we do have so much in common, and not only are you doing the real estate, I mean, helping real estate agents is great, don't get me wrong, but I think it's also your values and the things you do to give back, and the fact that you're very just a helpful person that really wants to change the planet for the better, and those are the people I love to interview.
well, I appreciate it. I'm excited.
So let me ask you this, as somebody who was a realtor myself in a previous life, I was not selling. I eventually did sell 100 homes a year, but not in my first couple of years, and you came kind of straight out of the starting gate and just took off. And not only that, one of the things I didn't mention in your bio is you moved from Texas to California, so you were starting in a new market. Explain how that all happened. How did you become so successful so quick?
Okay, well, and when I started, I didn't actually move from Texas to California. I actually moved from a little country town in Texas to the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex.
Oh, okay. So I'm lying. I'm lying to people here. That's how I roll. So
no problem. We can fill in the gaps here. But I had never, the biggest town I'd ever lived in outside of going to college in Abilene, Texas, where I went to college, was a town of 12,000 people. So I'd never been in a big city. And then I moved to an area of Dallas-Fort Worth, an area in Colleyville, Texas, kind of a Fort Worth suburb. And I'd never lived in a city bigger than 12,000 people. And all of a sudden, I'm in a metropolitan area with, nearly, at the time, over 5 million people. And I didn't know anybody. And so I just didn't have anything to do except just dive in with both feet and go to work. And I think the biggest thing I did that helped me build my business was, one, I aligned myself with a good company that had great training, and I was coachable, had a great attitude. I worked my rear end off. So I always tell people the 3 keys to my success was a great attitude, a great work ethic, and I was coachable. And those really were the things that helped me start fast and really accelerate my business very, very quick. I just outworked most people, honestly.
Yeah, well, that is so important, and you kind of hit the nail right on the head, and it really comes down to mindset. You can be successful in any business if you have the right frame of mind, the right ability to be coachable. That's so important too, because a lot of people, they want to be know-it-alls and like to think that they've got it all dialed in, and they don't want to listen to other people. And the fact that you were willing to say, hey, you know what, I'm willing to let other people teach me the ropes. That's so important.
Yeah, I'll tell you the other thing. Probably the biggest motivator for me was fear, because I had no savings. I just decided to do this because I had some other. I really thought real estate would let me make good money and give me time control. This is why everybody gets into real estate, right? They're like, I want to have my own business. I am my own boss. And I can set my own hours. I can sell as many houses as I want to, make as much money as I want, and do other stuff on the side. And it worked out fairly well. But when I started, I didn't have any savings. I didn't have any connections. I had no sales experience ever. I didn't know anybody. I had a family to feed. And so I was just terrified I had no choice but to succeed. And so it was just that absolute commitment that no matter what, I will figure this out and make it happen. And so I didn't do anything but take off. And I just applied myself every day, and I figured I would learn as I go, and that's exactly how it worked out.
Yeah, well, I guess you were in a position where you didn't really have any choice because it was do or die, right? And I know a little bit about your personal story, so I know that you really had to work hard to make things happen.
Yep, absolutely. And I loved it. I enjoyed doing it.
Yeah, so I see your whiteboard in the background there, and I do watch a lot of your video content. Even though I'm not a realtor anymore, I find it, I still like to learn and see what people are doing in the industry these days. And I recommend some realtors, of course, to check out all your content. But the thing that's great is that you have a lot of free stuff that you give away a ton of free information online, and I think that's amazing. I wish that stuff was there when I first started.
So do I. I mean, it was, and honestly, what helped me get going, when I started, we had cassette tapes. When I started real estate in 1998, there was no, I mean, we had internet, but we didn't have training. There was nothing available online like that. So I started out by getting some cassette tapes, some real estate sales training cassette tapes that my company had. And I just stuck those in my car and nonstop. I listened to them hour after hour. And so now agents can get online and they can find me on YouTube, and that's how they find me. And they can go on YouTube and they can watch. And I just put out tons of free training content that I know is going to help them be more effective and better as a real estate agent. What you're seeing behind me is actually that's actually our sliding glass door out onto our balcony. That's not a whiteboard.
Isn't that a whiteboard to the very right? No, am I imagining?
No, what you're seeing behind me, no.
Okay, I'm imagining things. So once again, I am lying to the audience. That's how we do it here.
I have a whiteboard up on the wall, and I have my flip chart is not up.
Oh, okay. That looks like it to me. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So
you know what? Are you seeing that right there?
Yeah.
I can't see it because I can't see my screen. That's actually one of the studio lights that we use when I shoot the videos.
Oh, okay.
Studio lights that we turn them on, and that creates the good lighting.
Well, I'm glad I misinterpreted what that was, because it led to a question that I might not have asked you. So I think that was a very important question. Yeah. So everything happens for a reason.
Absolutely.
So Kevin, tell me about your coaching program. How does that work? And how did you decide one day that, hey, instead of just selling homes, I can teach other realtors how to be successful too?
Yeah. So I decided to call my real estate training company. I call it Yes Masters. Yes Masters Real Estate Success Training. And what I'd say is basically I help real estate agents get more yeses and more successes in their business and in their life. And here's what really inspired me to do this, Mike. Number one, I love coaching and training. I've always loved teaching people, and I love seeing people get it. And I've just always been able to do that. I've had a way that I help people, I teach them something, and they get it. And that's, I don't know, I think I got that from my mom and dad. They were both school teachers and educators. So that education gene, I think I just got it. I just wasn't interested in the paycheck that school teachers got. So I had to do something different than that. But I've always just had a passion for helping people get better and learn stuff, and then helping them succeed. So my real passion is helping real estate agents succeed not only in real estate, but to succeed in their life. Because when you look at real estate agents, they get into real estate because they have a dream. And their dream is, like I mentioned, my dream was to be able to make as much money as I wanted to, and yet I'm my own boss, so I've got time control, so I can literally have the lifestyle I want. And most agents get in and it doesn't work out quite that way. And so what I teach this over and over, and I tell real estate agents, and I remind them, remember why you got into this business. You didn't get into real estate to sell real estate. You got into real estate to have a life. And I just looked around and I saw so many agents that's why they got into it and it didn't work out. And they just stumble and they fumble around, and so much of the coaching and training industry is just about, get the next deal, and it's always about chasing the next deal. And chasing the next deal will never give you a great lifestyle. And so I wanted to go with more of a big picture, and that started not with, okay, how do you get your next deal as a real estate agent, but how can you build a business that will let you have a life? And let's focus on why you got into this. Let's start there, and then we'll back it out to building the foundation and building the strategies and the systems and the skills to be able to have the business that you want. So it was really just my frustration at looking around the industry and saying there's so many agents that want it and are looking for it, and I felt like there was just a gap of that kind of training and teaching. Not that it didn't exist. There's some great other programs out there and great trainers and all of that. I just felt like there was a place that I could fill and impact a lot of agents, and that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's great, and you're doing a very good job of it. I'm going to change the topic a little bit here because I know a lot of the people listening, I mean, I could talk real estate all day long, as you know, and so can you. And a lot of our listeners are more interested in the business side of it as opposed to the real estate because that's not their thing. So let's talk about the business side. How do you get your clients? There's obviously a lot of realtors out there. How do you attract them? I imagine your free videos bring a lot of people in your funnel. What are some of the other things that you're doing?
That's really it. For me, I found out something very interesting. When I first started YouTube, using I do videos and I put them on YouTube. I was actually a CEO and a team leader for a large Keller Williams office, and I would use it for recruiting and for training my agents, and also for recruiting other agents. I would send them the link to the video. I just found out other agents from all over the world started watching my videos, and they would make comments or ask questions, and I'm like, just one day going like, wow, this could be something. So I just started putting high quality training videos, and some of them would be 5 minutes long, 2 minutes long, and some of them would be 45 minutes long. And I would take some of my team meetings when I would do a sales meeting. I would post some of those videos, and I just found more and more people watching them and agents watching them. And I realized, hey, you know what? I think I could do something with this, and I've just built that. And literally, real estate agents, and this is part of just my opportunity, was real estate agents look for training and they look for help online. And when they go in and they search for, how to get more listings, Google is where they search, and YouTube is owned by Google, and it's where things pop up. And I just found out learning how to do good YouTube videos, learning how to title them right, tag them right, put comments in them right, to come up in their searches, and agents would find me. And I've just consistently posted. And it's taken it took a year before I really started getting traction. It's just grown, and it's been now 2.5 years since I started posting videos regularly. And I've not done any paid marketing on it or anything, and I get literally 40,000 views a month. And almost every single client I've gotten has found me on YouTube. And the beauty of YouTube is that the longer you have a video on there, the marketing horsepower gets greater. Paid marketing, if you do a billboard the old-fashioned way or put it in the newspaper, its highest impact is the day you pay for it and the day it's published, and then after that, its horsepower disappears immediately. With a YouTube video, the longer it's there, the more views it gets, the more visibility it gets. So that's been huge for me, is using YouTube and realizing that video is here to stay. People relate to video so powerfully. And because of YouTube's connection with Google, you get found on that way when you do it. And I think consistency was the biggest key for me on that.
Yeah, so when you first started doing videos, and I'm interested to hear your answer because I struggled with it, because I still don't like to watch myself I still don't like to watch my videos. I'll make them, I give them my assistant, and she does whatever. And so here I am doing an online TV show a few years later, and I still don't like to watch myself. Did you struggle when you first did it? Were you uncomfortable with it?
Yeah, I mean, it's nobody likes to see that. When I used to record myself on the phone when I would be prospecting as an agent. So I'd hear myself on the phone, and I hated it. And then you start doing video, and now it's not only how you sound, it's how you look. So it's all disgusting, and you're like, I can't believe it. And I started out with a flip camera, and that was how I started. And then I moved to using a smartphone, and frankly, my iPhone I don't use it for my studio recordings, but the iPhone is still it's an HD video camera. It's awesome. Having great equipment is a piece of cake. Doing the videos when you start out, you're not going to be that good. Can I give some tips?
Absolutely. Please do, because you know what? Everybody who's listening should be doing video to promote your business. If you're an entrepreneur, you've got to be doing video.
You've got to be using video. Video is so powerful. Here's some of the key things that I learned about video. Number one is you got to be excited when you're on video. If you're boring, they're out of there. One thing I learned from Brendon Burchard, who you and I both think a lot of, and who's kind of a master in this space, is that the standing wisdom is that your videos should be short, 3 to 5 minutes. Listen, I've got a real estate training video right now that is over 2.5 hours long, that right now is getting over 6,000 views a month.
Wow, that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal.
But it's because I'm doing something that's very niched. In other words, it's to people that find it. It's people that are wanting to learn something important, and they're willing to watch something to do it. Now, if you're just entertaining people, they're not going to watch it for 2.5 hours unless it's a Hollywood production, right?
But exactly. Well, I'm just going to interrupt for a second. One of the things that Brendon Burchard says is that yes, it's good to have short videos, but the reason that people's attention span is so low is because of the type of videos that are put up on YouTube. There's people putting cats humping, for example. Nobody wants to watch an hour of that. At least I don't. And so I think if you have something that's really good content and you're engaging, people will watch as long as it takes to get your message.
Yeah, if anybody that's watching cat humping for 60 minutes, they're probably not going to buy anything that you have for the best.
That's so true. I don't know if I really. That's kind of creepy. So I don't want them coming to my YouTube channel.
Not your target client for sure. So, but the biggest thing I found out was I was excited. When I talk on have to train myself to do this. I just train myself to smile all the time. And you look at the really great people who do videos that are great at just being like we are. We're the talking heads right now. One is I'm excited all the time. Two, you got to have good sound, good lighting. You've got to just engage them with something that has value for them. And then the key to making, over time, getting good traffic on YouTube is consistency. You've got to put up something at least every week. You've got to be putting up videos every week and every month. And the other thing is put titles on your videos. The video needs to have a title that is something people will search for. So you don't want to do the cutesy titles like a headline, because it may sound cute. Like a email subject line is not the same thing as a YouTube video title. The YouTube video title needs to have something that, like I put the 4 best ways to get more listings for a real estate agent. Well, they'll Google the best ways to get more listings. Well, mine says the 4 best ways to get more listings, so that comes up, and it's kind of a long tail search word. Keyword search, whatever they call that in Google terminology.
Googleese, I don't know.
Whatever it is. That's huge in being able to get people traffic. But the biggest thing is consistency. Put good videos up there, good content, and do it consistently, and your traffic will just continue to grow. There's a lot of tricks and details of that, but that's the biggest thing. Just start putting something up there that's got energy and enthusiasm, and consistently post new videos, and you'll get better as you do it.
For sure. I look at some of my early videos, and they're really quite embarrassing. And not that I've become a professional at video by any stretch yet. And I actually have fun with this because I don't really care. My goal isn't to make this professional. It's not to make it look polished. Right. It's just meant to. This serves a purpose. It's meant to connect certain people, and they're not going to care about the professionalism of the video. But it is something you do develop a skill at. You get a lot better. I mean, when you first start, you're doing like 100 takes to do a 1-minute video, and especially if you hate editing and you're not good at it, you become good at being the one-take wonder, don't you? Or do you find the same thing?
Yeah, I mean, here's one thing again I learned is that when you mess up, don't stop and start over. Just keep going. And if you need to stop and start over, don't stop the video. Just keep going and just do it. And then once you get it done and get one that's bearable, put it on YouTube, upload it, and then there's an edit function on YouTube where you can, and if you don't know how to do it, just type in YouTube, go in and say, how to edit my video. And there's going to be videos to teach you how to do
video on that, of course. Exactly.
And then learn, and then edit it down, and just where it starts and stops at the right time. And I think that's a big thing. But the YouTube videos, the key is having consistency, have a message that people has value. And then the other thing is the money comes because my YouTube videos have one function, and that is to get them to go to my website where I have an opt-in page. And that's the big, that's when I capture their information. So now I can start sending them more stuff of value. And the opt-in is like, hey, if you like that, if you want some deep dive training videos on this or whatever, the same model that I learned from Brendon Burchard is opt in here, and I'll send you some more training videos for free. And people do it all the time.
Yeah, it works very, very well. And for anybody who's listening, and like I said, if you're not online, you need to be. If you're not making videos, you need to be. What are some of the other tips as an entrepreneur who might be looking to launch some sort of business? What are some of the biggest tips you'd give for somebody who might want to be venturing into this crazy world of ours?
Well, I think, and I'm gonna say from my experience, one of the things that I figured out was I created a clear message of distinction to a specific group of people that I knew needed and were willing to invest in what I was teaching. I think one of the biggest challenges that people have that are entrepreneurs in this kind of a space is they get mixed in with everybody else, and it's like, what's your distinction, who's your target market, and who will find you online and then be willing to invest in what you have. And that's part of a process, and I think you've really got to go through that. And then here's probably the biggest thing. Once you decide you're passionate about something, and that's another big element, just like, you got to be excited about it. I've never done anything that I loved so much that if I was totally financially independent, and I'm not there yet, but that's the journey, is if I was totally independent right now, financially independent, if I was totally rich right now, I would still do this.
Absolutely. You know, those are good words of wisdom.
Yeah, I'm just so passionate. And if you're not passionate about it, every time before this call, this interview with you, I was doing one of my group coaching calls, and I tell them, you know, if you're not excited when you talk to a seller, they don't think you care about their helping them sell their house, and if they don't think you're interested, they're not going to trust you. And so your energy, your passion, you got to be excited about it. And I asked them, I said, hey, do you guys think I'm excited to be on this call with you guys? And the obvious answer has got to be yes. I wouldn't ask the question. But I love what I do that much. So you got to love what you do. And then the second thing is you got to decide, I am going to do this. I know I can do it. I can figure it out. It may be harder than I thought. It may take longer than I thought. But I will succeed at this. And then you just got to dive in with that 100% commitment to winning at it. And most people that can do this, but they give up too soon. And if you want me to tell, I can tell you a little bit about my struggle. But it did not go good fast.
Well, I think actually it would be very inspiring, because I do know your story, but there's people out there, of course, that don't. So I think it would be very inspiring for them to hear what you have to overcome to get where you are, and know that they can do it too.
Yeah. So I'll kind of to bring it together. When I started real estate in 1998, did very well, sold a lot of houses and everything. And around 2007, I decided it was time for me now to own my own real estate company. So I think in July of 2007, I bought a real estate office in Dallas-Fort Worth, and that was about the week the subprime mortgage market collapsed. So we had no idea that our world in real estate was about to change. And things went pretty good for a while, but it just kept getting, it was just not getting better. And at one point, I realized I'm just not going to make any money at this. So I decided I was actually going to sell my real estate company and then go back into selling. And I did that. I sold the real estate company, worked out pretty good. I got out without losing my shirt. But then all of a sudden, I didn't own a real estate company. And for the first time ever, I was able to look at doing something I always dreamed about doing, and that was moving to Southern California. So I said, you know what? I don't own a company now. I'm starting back over and selling. I'm just going to go to Southern California. Now, this was in 2009, so the markets are still not good. Everything's still in a little chaos. But I had to go, and I just made the commitment. I'm going. This was my dream, to live in Southern California. I came out here, and I found a job. Now, I basically found a job being a manager and a recruiter and a coach for a large real estate office. It was an awesome real estate company, and it was a great job, but it was survival. And here's what happened. I went into, from the time 2007 to about 2.5 years ago, I went into survival mode. After the economy crashed, and like happened to a lot of real estate agents and a lot of people in general, is we just were trying now to survive. And a little over 2.5 years ago, I said, you know what? That's it. I'm not going to do that anymore. I've got to start growing again and pursuing my dreams and quit just surviving. And I'd been in California for 2.5 years just doing that, just surviving. And so I went to 2 weekends in a row. I went to Tony Robbins' Unleash the Power Within one weekend, and then I went to another event the week before that that was developed by T. Harv Eker called the Millionaire Mind Intensive. And those 2 events completely changed my life, because it got me, I just made the decision, I'm going to start growing again. I'm going to really get into personal development and break out of this survival mentality, and that started it. So after those 2 weekends in a row, you go to Tony Robbins one weekend and Millionaire Mind Intensive another weekend, it's going to mess you up.
Did you do the fire walk?
I did the fire walk, absolutely. And I mean, you're bulletproof. And so I said, you know what? That's it. I'm going to go quit my job. And that's what I did. So I went to quit my job. I told him 2 weeks later, I said, I'm going to give my notice. I will stay on board until you find a good replacement. So I'm not going to leave or do anything else. And in the meantime, I'm going to start pursuing my passion of coaching and training real estate agents all over just all over. And by then, YouTube was kind of getting, I was catching on that YouTube was going to be a good source of business. So I started doing that. Well, that decision was made in November of 2011. So in 2012, I had stayed on with the real estate company where I was managing until May of that year, and then I was full-time coaching. Well, I'd launched in April. My first launch, by the way, my first coaching launch online, I signed up 9 clients at $89.99 a month for a group coaching program. I made $900 my first month in my first launch. Now, which sounds pretty cool, but 2 months later, I had no other income. And so it got worse before it got better, and it was hard. And I mean, my girlfriend and I, Julie, went through some tough times because I was not making enough money to take care of stuff, and it got really, really hard. But I knew it was the right thing. I knew I was in the right thing. I continued to grow. Every spare dime I had, I invested. A year and a half ago, I hired a little over a year ago. I hired James Malinchak, who I think you know James Malinchak.
I sure do. Yeah, I'm a member of his. I go to a lot of his programs.
That's right, his programs, yeah. So
we go to the same programs. I think one of us is stalking the other. So
I think so. It's where we connected, and I don't know if that was the one we connected at, if it was James Malinchak or not. But I hired him as a coach because he was so powerful in helping me have some mental breakthroughs and some strategy. And literally, I signed up for his coaching program. I had no money to do it. I used literally all the money in my business account and most of the money in my personal account to sign up for his coaching program. And literally 60 days later, I did my first launch, made over $50,000 in 6 days with a launch of another coaching program, and it changed my whole life. And I just didn't quit until I got to a point where now, and since that time, and that's now been over about a year ago, and everything's changed. And right now, we're just positioning ourselves to have a greater impact. But I knew it was my passion. I knew it was my time, and I would refuse to let the adversity and the fear and simply the adversity of being broke stop me.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal story, and obviously with a very good ending too. And so, I'm very proud of what you've done and where you came from and what you had to do to get there.
Couple of last thoughts.
Oh, not yet. We're not going to wrap up yet. I mean,
okay, I got a couple of thoughts.
Oh, you have okay. Well, these don't have to be last thoughts. These will be mid-range thoughts. Go ahead.
Here's one of the things that I think resonated with the people that I'm talking to in my world of real estate agents. But I think it has a message to all over the place, and that is I feel like I was in an industry that was full of so much BS. And that's the way I describe it. Like there's so much BS out there. So many training, so many of the scripts that they're taught, sales strategies. It's just BS. I call BS stands for bad sales. Okay, there's good sales and there's bad sales. So there's and bait and switch strategies, which means we act like we're going to do one thing with the client, and then we kind of show up and we do something different. And one of the real things that I've tried to communicate to agents is that you can learn how to get yes without using BS. And I think when in business and in entrepreneurship, whether you're building an online business, wherever it is, it's all about building those relationships and getting clients and getting customers, whatever it is, that if you'll figure out the skills and the strategies to add value to people without ever BSing them. Everything I train, everything I teach, I tell agents that this is a BS-free zone. Anything I train and stuff like that, because there's so much out there in the real estate industry, so much of the training, and in the sales industries in general, that's just BS. And I think we got to reset that. We got to get rid of that industry. That in our industry, I know there's a lot of great champions like Brendan Burchard, like yourself. They're like, you're in the real estate investing industry, and there's a lot of real estate investors out there. They're just out for a buck. I love the whole concept. What you're doing here is making a difference, because it's more important than making a dollar. And if you'll make a difference, then making a dollar will come if you add enough value to people. And that's why I do so many free videos. I literally want to help them make enough money that they can invest in my coaching with money I've already helped them make for free. And
I love that. That's a great concept, by the way. I love that.
And the approach is don't BS people. You lose and they lose. And if you'll help people win in life, you're going to win in life. And that's part of my whole mantra is It's all about winning in life, and the best way you're going to win in life is helping other people win in life, which is exactly what you're doing. Again, I just want to thank you for what you're doing, because it's making a huge difference.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, I feel blessed and so fortunate to be in the position where I get to talk to people like you and all these experts, and I'm learning so much from talking to everybody and getting their take on things and learning their philosophies, and I just feel so fortunate to be in this position for a guy who doesn't even like to be on video. So, you know, it's a pretty good position to be in, as long as I don't have to watch my own videos.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, what are some of the things that I love your no BS zone, by the way. What are some of the things that you want to change in this world? What are some of the things you want to do, or maybe are already doing, to make a difference and have a bigger, have an impact on this planet?
Well, of course, again, in my primary space in my business is the real estate business. And that's just because I feel like I've been put in that place where I can have a lot of impact with real estate agents. I think eventually it may go beyond that. Is, to me, my background, I love sports, and so I think of a sports analogy. To me, your life is your championship game, and you got to win it. I mean, there's no other option. What's the alternative to winning? And people say winning isn't everything. Well, it depends on what game you're playing. And when it's your life, it is your championship game. You only got one of them, and losing is not an option. And to me, my ability to help people win in life, my commitment to that, my passion to that, there's nothing more fulfilling to me than seeing somebody else winning. And I've been able to have an impact in doing that. That you've got to find in you something that drives you to help other people. You want to increase your income. If you want to put a dollar figure on it, the way you increase your income is increase your value. I've heard Jim Rohn taught that, and I'm sure countless other people have taught that. If you want to become worth more, dollar-wise, become worth more value. Deliver more value, and you're going to increase your income. Find ways to help people win and get what they really want in life. And it's not just about immediate gratification for me, so it can't be about immediate gratification for them. What I tell real estate agents is, I may have already said this, you didn't get in real estate to sell real estate. You got in real estate to have a life. And so figure it out. Build a business that way, and that's what I teach them how to do. And in any business, if you're teaching entrepreneurship and you're working to become an entrepreneur, let your big goal of the lifestyle you want be what drives you, not just getting caught in the daily grind. The daily grind will wear you out. The daily grind will kill you. The daily grind will burn you out. But if there's a bigger picture of why am I doing this, then at the end of that day, you're gonna be winning. And I want every day to feel like at the end of the day, looking back and say, okay, did I win today? Yes. That's why I love Yes Masters. I got to say this, Yes Masters. When I came up with the idea of Yes Masters, is people are like, I teach real estate agents how to get more yeses and more successes. But it's not just about getting other people to say yes to you. The most important thing about being a Yes Master is being able to say yes to yourself. Say yes to your life, to be able to say yes to the people that are important in your life, to the people that you love, the people you care about, is to be able to have opportunities that come along to make an impact and be able to say, yes, I can do that. Somebody needs help. Yes, I can help. Rather than having to say, I wished I could, but I can't because I can't afford it or I don't have time, is to be able to say, yes, I can do it. So it's not just about getting other people to say yes to me. It's about me creating a life and helping others create a life so that they can say yes to themselves and yes to the things that really, really are important in their life. And if we don't live that way, we're gonna regret it.
Yeah, that's some really good points there, and I want to touch on. I mean, you were talking about a little bit about lifestyle there, and I think Mel Abraham puts it best, that instead of building your life around your career, build your career around the life that you want to lead and where you want to get to, and that's really the key to happiness. It's not about chasing the dollar. It's really about having that lifestyle that you want and the freedom, and I think that's so important.
Oh, and of course we were speaking of Mel Abraham because I was at his Business Breakthrough Academy. By the way, can I throw a plug in for this guy?
Oh, he's amazing, and please do, because I love his stuff too. I
mean, Mel Abraham was over the top powerful, and I loved his whole approach to. It's called Business Breakthrough Academy. I think it's businessbreakthroughacademy.com, and the way he approaches taking your business to the next level is he says the whole concept of work-life balance is totally a fantasy, and it is. I mean, it's not a fantasy; it's just a mistake because we try to. But work-life balance doesn't work out because it's like you compartmentalize work here and life here. Well, you're going to spend, and I've thought of this for years. If you're going to have a family, the average working man or working woman is going to spend most of their child's waking hours doing something for a paycheck. I mean, literally, if you go to work, if you leave at 8 o'clock in the morning and you get home at 6 o'clock at night, you are spending most of your child's waking hours doing something for a paycheck. And you're trying to tell me money's not that important to you? You're trying to say there's more to life than making money or having a job? Money won't make you happy? Well, I agree, but if that's the case, then why are you spending most of the life of your kid, of your children, chasing a paycheck? And so Mel says, you got to learn how to have a life, and your work is going to be a part of it, and learn how to do that. So I think the new phrase I'm going to use, and I was just, as I was listening to Mel, I thought of this, is work-life harmony and integration. Is your work and life have got to be in harmony. If you listen to music, if you listen to singing groups that really know how to harmonize, they're singing different lines, but they're all singing together in harmony. You've got a tenor and an alto and a soprano and a bass, and they're all singing together the same song at the same time, and it all blends together. Well, that's what your life has got to be. It's not like, okay, I'm going to sing my work song from 7 o'clock in the morning from the time I wake up till I get home at 6, and then I'm going to sing family time. No, you've got to figure out a way to integrate all of it. And is it easy? Not always, but that's part of the reason for being an entrepreneur is that you get to orchestrate your life. You get to orchestrate your song. When you're an employee for somebody else is conducting the orchestra. They're telling you what part to play. They're telling you what song to sing, and they're going to have that control. I love the idea of being an entrepreneur in America and anywhere in the world, but here in America, it's so easy to take charge of it, and you orchestrate your life, and don't try to take work and divorce it from your life and say, well, I'm going to work hard and then I'm going to come home and have a life. You've got to find a way to blend them so that it's harmonious, or you're going to end up at the end of your life with a lot of regret.
Yeah, very, very well said, Kevin. Very well said. So, unfortunately, we have to wrap things up, and this show, I got to make it longer because it just goes so fast. There's so many other things I want to ask you, but I guess in conclusion, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, what's the best way to do that?
Well, my email is kevin@yesmasters.com, which is real simple, kevin@yesmasters.com. My website is yesmasters.com, and they can go there. They can check out some stuff. If you want to see my YouTube channel, just to check it out, especially for entrepreneurs and see what I do, it's youtube.com/Kevin Ward Now, and they can just go find it. It's not hard. You can Google me and find it there as well. And anything I can do to help. I mean, I'm all about helping other people succeed and win in life. So if anybody has questions about what my business is doing, how I'm doing it, I built my business as a group coaching model as opposed to one-on-one because I wanted to be able to impact more people and still have to not sell my life for dollars. So I've got more leverage, and I'm not working 80 hours a week. If anybody has questions about it, I'm so honored for the opportunity to give back the way you're doing. Again, Mike, you're an inspiration. I'm just telling you, buddy. I love it.
Well, hey, I think the same of you, and that's why you're here. That's why I brought you on the show, because I'm just.
And by the way, you're going to be speaking at my next event that's coming up here real quick, the Real Estate Vortex Training Camp here in Los Angeles. So I'm very much looking forward to having you come in and share with my agents. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah, give the dates on that and the location, so if people want to attend, they can do that.
Okay, it's June the 9th to the 11th. It's at the LAX Westin. If they want to find out more about it, just go to yesmasters.com in the event tab at the top, and they can click on it and they can get all the information on it. If they'll email me, I will, because they've been on this. If they'll email me, Kevin@yesmasters.com, I will send them a link to give them a special discount price.
And you'll get to see both of us in action. So
and you get to see, you come in. Also, Mike Fritz, who is a friend of both of ours. Mike Fritz is a comedian. I'm going to have him come in. You're going to come in and teach them how to turn real estate homeowners into investors and how to become investors. Mike Fritz is going to come in and teach real estate agents how to make clients laugh.
I love that. I love that.
Powerful, yeah, because if you make people laugh, you have way more influence, and so it's a powerful strategy we teach in building relationships with people.
Well, I am definitely looking forward to that.
It's June 9th through the 11th at the Westin in Los Angeles. I think, did I give the dates?
Yeah, and it's 2014. In case you're watching this after that's already happened, don't go June whatever 2017 because we may not be there.
Right. Probably not.
All right. Well, thanks again, Kevin. It was truly a pleasure having you here. We're going to have you back because there's so many things that I wanted to ask that I never got around to. Awesome. But we'll definitely have you back on.
Thanks, Mike. You're the best.
You rock. And so do you, the viewers of our show. Thank you so much for tuning in to Entrepreneurs Making a Difference. And I look forward to having you tune in for our next episode. Thanks again, everyone.